Hey everybody, it is Sunday morning. Had to think about that. It's been a very busy week, and I was sitting on the couch enjoying my cup of coffee, and I was thinking it is time to do some cleaning. And not sure how this is gonna end up, but I have a feeling it's gonna be fun because the focus is the Xbox 360. Kind of want to clean up that collection. A while ago in the comments I mentioned that I have around like 350 Xbox 360 games, and yeah, it is actually one of the largest collections that I own currently, and I like the Xbox 360. Do have some very special memories about the Xbox 360. While the console was launched, I worked in retail, and I've seen and played like a ton of these games. But 350 games is just a ton, and space is limited. I don't have any space to store like new Xbox 360 games, although like I'm not likely going to pick up like many this year. But I need some space for other consoles as well. So yeah, in that comment I said like, hey, I have 350 Xbox 360 games, but I would love it to bring it down to around like 250, and that is still like a ton. I have like an Xbox 360 shelf here with games that I'm very unlikely to remove from my collection, games that I really want to keep and play at some point. And the problem is not all the games are on the shelf, of course. I think on the shelf, around like 44 games or so. But I have 6 of these bins full with Xbox 360 games. And, you could say buy another bin and use that one for storage. I could, but I have 6 of these bins full. And again, that's also just too much. And I would love it if I'm actually able to have like 2 empty bins at the end of this whole thing. Because I'm not likely to do this like in one video. This is going to be a multi-part video. My idea is always like, space is limited and I could buy new bins, but then you get more bins and it's just it is just too much. And I like that limitation, like, hey, that focus, like I should have games that I am very likely to play and games that I want to keep in my collection. So the goal is in this video to try and go over one bin, and in the next video or another video go over a second bin and see what we end up with. Now I'm gonna select these games based on a couple of things. Games that I'm likely to play, games that I really want to keep in my collection, or likely to play or keep in my collection are based on, are they exclusive for the Xbox 360? Do I feel like it's very unlikely that a port or a remaster or a remake is coming out for that game? And also, is maybe the Xbox 360 the best platform to play that game? Games that I am likely to remove from the collection are probably based on the opposite of what I just mentioned. But maybe more like a feeling like it's very unlikely I'm gonna ever play these. And it could be like, I have a feeling it's gonna be like a ton of like cheaper games, but it could also be that there are some expensive games in there. Like the tendency with a collection is that, this is an expensive game, it's likely to go up in value. It's like, why would I even sell it or consider like trading it for a different game? I'm just like, yeah man, every game could go up in value. And I think I value more that a game that I'm likely to play and enjoy instead of having a game that is expensive and I'm unlikely to play, because playing the games is what mostly matters to me. And I know it is super fun to have like expensive games and that are just rare to get, but that's a little bit lower maybe on the priority list. So we're gonna end up with, I think, 3 stacks. Games that I wouldn't mind removing from the collection, games that I want to keep in a bin, and maybe a stack of games that I would love to have actually on a new Xbox 360 shelf. I'm not going to remove that shelf for the Xbox 360 games that I currently have, but just if I had the space, then I would put these games in or on a shelf. So I think that's the goal. And yeah, you know what? Let's just get started. I'm gonna set a timer though, because I don't want to make this video too long. But yeah, we'll do our best. And let's just go over them quickly. Yeah, let's go over them quickly. And of course, there's not gonna be gameplay footage. I'm not gonna add gameplay footage for 350 games. So the first one, this is already starting out very nice. Oh yeah, I have to say though, the bins are organized like alphabetized. It's something that I normally don't do. I really dislike doing that with a collection. I got my reasons for that. Might go over that in a different video. But yeah, some of these games are not part of or like correctly arranged because I just didn't have like any space to keep them in the bin. But yeah, most of the games are in the same like alphabetized ranged. Anyway, so the first game is Blur. That game is likely going to end up in a bin. It's a very cool racing game. It was not too expensive though, but yeah, cool racing game, and not sure if it's like shelf worthy. If there's a room left on the shelf, then that one would likely to end up on the shelf. Because you know the racing games on the Xbox 360 are very fun. Another one, Ridge Racer Unbounded. Yeah, it's a bin game, not like actually binned, but it's a game that I'm unlikely to sell because it's actually very enjoyable. Did I make a Let's Play video of like Ridge Racer Unbounded? I think I did. I really enjoyed it. Another one is Saw 2. That is probably a shelf game because I do have like a very good naming convention, like either shelved or bin games. Those are games that I actually want to keep. Anyway, Alice Menace Returns. Yes, I do want to keep this in my collection, and this is probably going to be like a game on a shelf at some point. I considered selling this one to get like a normal version because I don't like or don't necessarily collect like the promotional copies, but I got this one for my CEX in Cork Island, so I do have some fond memories of that game. This is a tricky one. Dead Smells Deluxe Edition. I really like this game, but I also have this game on the Switch, like the physical version. Now, I think the Switch version is maybe not the best because there's some latency input, but I don't care. Would I even like sell this game? Do I need to have this game in my collection? Not really. Maybe I need to make another pal of like, hey, I need to think this over. Because I like this one, because I could play it on the CRT TV instead of like on the OLED. And I think there are some positive sides about playing a shoot 'em up like this on a CRT. So yeah, I'm gonna create a new pal. It would actually be a game that would end up on the shelf, if you ask me. And I'm open for opinions, by the way. Like if I put a game in a certain pile and you don't agree with it, do let me know, and let me know why. Because yeah, I'm not like, if a game is on the sell pal or trade-in pal, like that doesn't mean like I'm gonna do that today. It's just like I will put them in a bin to do that stuff like later. The next one, Splinter Cell Blacklist. Feel like this is a bin game. Gonna keep this one in my collection. Apparently it's a pretty good Splinter Cell game. Never played it though. I'm thinking, do I actually want to keep this in my collection? It is a good game, but I never played it. I'm gonna make another stack. This is how lists happen. I'm gonna put it in the stack of unlikely to sell, but I have to think it over. This is gonna be very difficult. The next one is Superstars Racing V8. I wouldn't mind if that one was gone from the collection. Yeah, would not mind it. Yeah, not at all. The next one is Dreamcast Collection. It's a very cool collection. Yeah, I would say that is probably a shelf-worthy game. Now the next one is Elder Scrolls Oblivion. Probably cool to keep. Got some fun memories with Oblivion. I played it a ton back in the day. Apparently there's a remake coming out of Oblivion, so it's kind of fun to keep it and to compare those two. It is also not a very expensive game, so it is very unlikely that yeah, it's like worthy to trade in or sell it. There's some sentimental value, so we're gonna keep it. The next game is Overlord. I know people like Overlord. It is very unlikely that I'm ever gonna play Overlord. It is also very unlikely that I'm ever gonna play Overlord. What? Do I have two Overlords? Oh, this is Overlord 2. Ah, right, I see the logo. It wasn't very clear. This is Overlord 2. It is very unlikely that I will play Overlord 2. Peter Jackson's King Kong. It's a shelf game. Yeah, it's a cool game. Could say that it's somewhat of a horror-esque adventure game. So yeah, could end up being on a shelf. PTR 3. It's somewhat similar to Oblivion. Like, not worth it to sell. And it's an Xbox 360 game. Like, it's gonna be like in a bin. This is a fascinating one. Probably not gonna end selling this one. It's Pop Hits for Complete Games. It's just a very fun collection because it's more like the Xbox Live arcade games. This one has Peggle, Bejeweled 2, Feeding Frenzy, and Astro Pop. Yeah, I think it's just a very fun collection. Now this one, I don't see that often. It's a very uncommon game. It's actually the volume 2 of the PopCap hits. This one has Plant vs. Zombies, Heavy Weapon, Zuma, and Feeding Frenzy 2. Also very fun games. And you know, those games, yeah, again, like the Xbox Live arcade feeling, like I do appreciate that. Portal 2. Portal 2. I don't know. This is a difficult one. I'm gonna think that over because I like Portal. I like Portal 2 a lot. But am I ever gonna play that on the Xbox 360? I don't know. I'm gonna think that over. It's currently in a pile of like, might sell it. The following one is Prey. Yeah, I like my first-person shooters. Prey, it's a very fascinating game. Yeah, that will stay in a bin. The following is Prototype. Yeah, likely to play it at some point. I like Prototype. I think Prototype. I never played Prototype 2. The following one is Pure and Batman the video game. That is gonna be in the likely to sell or trade it in if it has like any value, but I don't think it has any value, but it takes up too much space. Pure could be a cool game though, but it might be so that I have it on the PlayStation 3. Quake 4, that is gonna stay. Rage, also a very cool game. I played it on the PC, really enjoyed it. I like Rage, and also a very fascinating game, you know, with the ITER engine and what they try to accomplish with the mega textures. Rambo, the video game. I know it's not a good game, but I do think this one is fascinating because am I correct in saying that this is the same developer of like the RoboCop game and what was the other one? The Terminator game. It's just very cool to see like their history and how they slowly evolved as a studio. It is an more expensive game though for the Xbox 360, around like 30 or so, I'm gonna say. Red Faction Armageddon. I'm gonna put it in the sell pile, but I think like Red Faction Armageddon is also not worth that much, so yeah. I think what is gonna happen is that these games are just gonna end up like in a different type of bin that I store somewhere else, and that I have like a free bin for games that I just want to have like nearby. Red Dead Redemption, Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare. Is this one also? This one is also on the PlayStation 4 one, correct? Like the. I need to check. Like, is that one not available on the like the remaster of like Red Dead Redemption? I want to say yes. If it is, I will likely sell this one. Never played it. I do want to play it at some point, but I'm likely to play it more on the PlayStation 4 if that is actually the case. Resident Evil 5, I will keep it. I like my Resident Evil 5. At some point, I do want to get. I still need to get like the PlayStation 4 version. I will likely sell it. If I can replace it with the PlayStation 4 version, then I will remove this one from the collection. Same goes for Resident Evil Revelations 2. So this is gonna be in the unlikely or maybe sell pile. Rise of Nightmares. I will keep this one. Very fascinating game, and I want to say like the soundtrack was made by the same person that made the soundtrack for Silent Hill 2. One day I will play some Kinect games on a Twitch stream, because I never really played like Kinect games on the Xbox 360 besides some serious games, not like like educational games. And I do want to check this one out. I think out of the Kinect games, like this might be like one of the better ones. And it's a horror game. Rise of the Argonauts. Gonna keep this one. It's an odd one. Rock Band. I'll keep that one. I love my Guitar Heroes and Rock Band games. I think I have Rock Band 1 and 2. I should have Rock Band 1 and 2 in my collection. But yeah, I just like Rock Band and Rogue Warrior is not a good game, but I will keep it because it's such a. I don't want to say it's such a bad game, but it's just an odd game and some fond memories with Rogue Warrior. The Saboteur, very cool game, so I will keep that one. Saints Row, this might actually be the game that I purchased at launch or when it launched. I really liked Saints Row. It was a bit janky, but I really liked the art style back then. It had that Xbox 360 look, quite similar to like the Perfect Dark Zero. Something about the visual art style, very odd. I liked with Saints Row the pipe bombs because they felt like quite powerful, and it was, for my memory, quite fun to throw them around and. Cause chaos. Saints Row 2, I will keep it. Like, yeah, Saints Row, just very cool. Then we do have Saints Row the third, the full package. I will keep it. But it's also available on the Switch and the PlayStation 4. I need to check. I'm gonna put it in the maybe sell pile. And there's so many Saints Row games. Saints Row 4, the Commander-in-Chief edition. I will put it in the same stack as the Saints Row the Third. Now we do have Sega Superstars Tennis. I'm gonna say this could go. That one could go. Sega Rally is not gonna go. And then we have Shift 2 Unleashed. I wouldn't mind selling it. Singularity, very cool game. If I'm correct, like I don't have the manual, which is a shame. Really enjoyed playing this game in the past. It's a very cool game. If you don't own it for the 360, I highly recommend checking out like Singularity. If you are able to play it on the PC, that's the one to go with. But this is a good version as well. Skyrim. Yes, it's cool, but this is not worth anything. But I'm gonna put it in the pile. Like, hey, this shouldn't. If I can get rid of this one, I'm okay with it. Sleeping Dogs. Now there is I want to say a PlayStation 4 version, but that's somewhat of a remaster that is maybe not always the best. So for now, I will just put it in the keep it pile, the bin pile. That's keep it. Sniper Ghost Warrior. That could go. Sniper 2 Ghost Warrior. It could go as well. I don't know if I mentioned, but most of these games, like I got so many games like in the last 2 years or so by buying a ton of lots. So, or I just got like an amazing deal with purchasing them, that even if I were to sell like a couple of these for a couple of euros, like not that I will make any profit, but there's no loss at all. The following game is Sonic the Hedgehog. Yeah, that one is gonna stay in the collection because it is Sonic. It's a very fascinating Sonic game, not the best, and also a little bit more on the expensive side. This went fast though. It's 22 minutes though in this video, but this went fast. Soul Calibur 4. I don't know. I like my fighting games, but am I gonna play Soul Calibur 4? I will keep it in the maybe sell pile. Spec Ops: The Line. This could be a shelf game. I really enjoyed my time with Spec Ops: The Line. It's good to see that the price actually went down a little bit. That is more affordable right now. But yeah, Spec Ops: The Line is very good. I was in the middle of like replaying it again, didn't have time, so I fell off it again. But when I played it for the first time, I think on a PC, it was a fantastic experience. The next one is South Park: The Stick of Truth. Isn't there a PlayStation 4 version of this one? I think so. I'm not like the biggest fan of South Park, so I'm gonna put this one in the get rid of pile. Street Fighter 4. I like this game, so I will keep it. Stuntman Ignition. Yeah, it could go. It could go. SSX. I will keep it. Snowboarding games. There are just not many snowboarding games these days, so I will keep it. And then we do have the final one is Star Wars: The Force Unleashed 2. I really like Star Wars. I never checked out Star Wars Force Unleashed 1 and 2. I should someday. So yeah, I will keep this one. Because I do think I will like these games. I wish they would remaster these games or just port them to the new consoles. I'm still on the lookout for like the Force Unleashed 1, the Sith edition, or at some point I should just buy the cheaper one, just the Force Unleashed 1. That was it. No, that's a lie. There's one more game. Almost it. The final one is Syndicate. I like Syndicate. It is such a cool game. It's such a shame that it wasn't really like well received back then. People really liked it, or people really disliked it because it was not Syndicate. what was the musician again with that soundtrack, with the dubstep? Was it called dubstep? I don't know. But yeah, this one has a ton of like, just as a very cool style, like a very cool vibe. I like Syndicate. I do want to check back in or replay Syndicate again at some point. The PC version is maybe like the best game or the best version to play. I would just love like a remaster or a port of this one on like the PlayStation 4 or 5. So yeah, that went a little bit quicker than I was anticipating, but that's okay. I got a small stack of games that I'm gonna think over if I'm actually gonna sell these, but very likely Portal 2 is maybe the one that I'm not too sure about. In the end, I can play it on a PC. Yeah, mostly the thing is though, like, hey, what is actually the value, and is it worth like trading them in or selling them? That whole hassle. But you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games here, and then we do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 games here. So 20 in total that are likely to be removed from the collection. That's a good amount from one bin, and I have 5 more bins left. So if every bin goes like this, and if I don't, think it's over too much, it is likely we could end up with like 100 games to remove from the collection. And I feel like I got a good stack over here. Could go over it again just to make sure that, hey, I could maybe remove this one. But overall, I'm happy with this result. And yeah, games for the shelf itself, like Saw 2, it's just because it's a horror game and this one was quite difficult to get. But I do feel like Alice and the Dreamcast collection, King Kong, Peter Jackson King Kong, and Spec Ops The Line are, games that could end up on a shelf. Let me know if you agree. And yeah, the other stack, it's too much to go over. And yeah, I think in the next video we're gonna talk about a different bin for the 360. So yeah, let me know if you agree with the games that I selected and where I put them. And yeah, that was actually very fun. And now I need to do some work. So everybody, thanks for watching, and as always, thanks for the likes and subscribes in the last couple of weeks. Highly appreciate it. And yeah, have a nice day. See you all later.